Welcome to today's episode of Relationship and Life. Over the last few weeks, we've been talking about the principles, the 9 pillars of effective relationship, and we've been taking those pillars one by one, been explaining them and all that. Now, the last time we ended the last pillar, the 9th pillar and everything, and I'm sure that if I should ask now and say what's the first pillar, what's the second pillar, what's the, you might not remember. And the truth is this: the essence of principles for us to practice them, but we cannot practice what we don't know, and it's in the practice that the power is released to us. And when we're in school, a lot of times to understand principles, they give us models to help us remember, so we can quickly apply. I remember in maths, they tell us that if you see a certain equation, you can't solve it straight, because if you solve it, you might not get the right answer. So they give us something we call BODMAS. BODMAS, you do the one in the bracket first, you do the off, which is multiplication, then D, which is division, and all that. So you follow the principle of BODMAS to solve those problems. Then the other one they gave us in science, they call it Mr. D Ninja, when we wanted to consider the attributes of living things or thereabouts, where M stands for M, movement, and all that. And the essence of these things, that so that when you want to apply those formulas, gives you quick memory. Now, if you do not understand how to quickly apply the 9 principles, then how do you use them in relationships? Do you understand me? If you do not understand, because believe me, there are 9 principles, and I have to ask myself. And what I do is this: when I get to a relationship, quickly I know how, because I know them, I know how to put them in a relationship and apply them, and know what to look out for. But if you don't know them, no matter how powerful these things are, you cannot apply them, cannot commit them to memory and bring them up quickly when you need them. You cannot apply them to your life. The Bible says in Psalm 78 from verse 9 to 11, talking about the children of Ephraim, the Bible says that the children of Ephraim were armed. They had bows and arrows. He said they had bows, and these are mighty weapons of war back in those days. He said they were armed with bows and arrows. He said, but when they saw battle, they ran away. Why did they run away? They ran away because they forgot what these things were. They forgot how to use them, and so it was of no use to them. So the truth is this: no matter how powerful something is, if you do not know how to use it, if you've forgotten it, maybe you have a gun and there's something, but you forgot it at home, or alternatively, you took it along, but you forgot how to use it, then it's of no benefit. So you're as helpless as someone that does not know it. So how do we get these things so we can use them quickly? We can mark our minds with them and use them when we need them in any relationship we come up against. Now, one of the reasons God gave man, Adam particularly, when God gave Abraham the mark of circumcision, was this: amongst every other thing, was to help him quickly see in his body, remember what the covenant stood for. That Abraham, I'm going to mark your body, I'm going to put this mark of circumcision on you, and once you see this mark, you can remember what I represent for you. And that's the idea, that there are a lot of things we need to do to mark our mind, so that once we mark our mind, we can quickly remember these things. So how do we mark our mind so that these 9 principles can be quickly remembered and quickly applied to our relationships? Listen, I've seen people, I don't know how true it is. I was reading online a few days ago, and I saw the story of a lady who had killed herself. And she killed herself because she was in a frustrating relationship with her husband. And that's how dangerous being in a wrong relationship can be. That a relationship can actually cost you your life. A relationship can cost you years. People have gone into mental asylums because of wrong relationships. So it's important to understand these things, apply them quickly, so we can spare ourselves unnecessary headaches and unnecessary heartaches. We will take a break now, and after the break, I will explain further how we can mark our minds, know how to apply these things, and quickly use them in the different relationships we are involved in. Please don't go away.
The decision on whom to marry is perhaps one of the most important decisions that you can make in life. Unlike any other decision you make in life, the decision on whom to marry has a far-reaching direct impact on your life. Sadly and unfortunately, most people fail to prepare adequately for this all too important life decision. In this book, Before You Say I Do, by Adeniyi Adekunle, you will find points to consider before proceeding to the marriage altar, and down-to-earth practical questions to ask yourself before saying, I do.
Experience God's life, light and love as you join our church family this Sunday at The Helpers House, venue, Court Event Center, 171 Bagada Oworonshoki Expressway, beside EcoBank, opposite UPS, First Pedro Bus Stop, Bagada, Lagos. Time 9:30 a.m.
Welcome back. So we're talking about how we can mark our minds with these 9 principles so that we can remember them quickly and apply them to relationships so we can use them as soon as we can. Now, I don't know how true it is. I read a story a couple of weeks ago, and it's kind of a sad story, and it shows how relationships impact us. It's a story of a man who, for some reason, had frustrated his wife so much, and the wife committed suicide. And you see, and that's how powerful relationship. That's how the impact of relationship can hit us so much that people can actually lose their life. There are people who are in mental asylums today because of relationship. There are people who have physical disabilities today because of relationship. So it's important you quickly understand a relationship, know how to assess a relationship, and know whether you need to invest your life in it or not. And that's why it's important you can be able to mark your mind with these things, scan those relationships, and know what you are going to get out of it. So, like I said, we follow Mr. Nyadi to understand the principles of living things. We follow BODMAS to understand how we can solve a mathematical problem. So when it comes to the 9 principles, for me, they come in 3 places. It's like a tree. A tree has 3 parts. It has the roots, it has the trunk, and it has the fruits held up in the tree. The roots, the trunk, and the fruits. Now, these 9 principles can also be divided into 3. What I call the fundamental root principles, the pillar principles, and the fruit principles. Now, at the roots, you have 3 pillars there. The 3 pillars that form the root principles are the pillar of purpose, the pillar of identity, and rules. At the root of every relationship, you find the purpose, you find the identity, and you find the roots. Now, what forms the trunk? The trunk is formed by the language, the roles, responsibility, and the duration. I'll go by again. The trunk is formed by the pillar of language, that's communication, the roles, the responsibilities, and duration. And the fruit, which is the result of what you have at the root and the trunk, is the rewards and the punishment. So before I go far into any relationship, I quickly assess it. What do I have as the root of this relationship? What's the purpose of the relationship? Can I identify those involved in it? What are the rules? Why? Before I go far in any relationship, I want to know and understand what the relationship has in store for me. I don't want to waste my energy. I don't want to waste my time. Why? Nobody lives forever. Nobody can invest everything into every relationship. So I want to very quickly be able to scan a relationship and know what I need to invest in it. So once I see a relationship, I just see a tree in my mind. What's the root of this relationship? If I understand the roots, what's the stem? What are the fruit I can expect? Now, it doesn't happen all at once, but once I can have an idea of what the root is, then I can give some time to understanding. If I know the roots, I can know what level of investment I need to make at the trunk, and I can know what I need to expect as the fruits. If you do not know this, then you get into a relationship, you invest your time, you invest your energy, and sometimes it's just no point. It's just a waste of time, a waste of energy. And that's why it's important we understand how to mark our minds with these things. God set these things up. He told Noah, he said, listen, Noah, I'll show you a sign in the heaven. Once you see this sign, understand that I will no longer destroy the earth again for man's purpose. So again, what these things are there for is this. Once you see a relationship, quickly, how do I know whether this is a relationship I need to invest in or not? How do I know whether this relationship carries some value for me or not? You understand how to access them. What's at the roots? What's at the trunk? And what is at what are coming out of the fruit? Once you understand that, when it's something you think you don't want, then there is no point going on in it. Now, at the root level, ask yourself, what's the purpose of this relationship? Where can it lead to? You are talking to somebody, in those little talks, you find one or two things. What is the purpose of relationship? Where is it going to lead to ultimately? That's the first thing. Then, do I know their identity? Where their origin? Do we have similar identity? Do we have similar origin? Is there any connection? Is there anything similar in us? Then the last one, when you talk about rules, you talk about values. Do we have the same rules of life? Are our do's and don'ts the same thing? Are our values similar? Now, that's at the root point. If you quickly go through these things and you find out that there is a problem, then there's no point wasting your time in it. There are times I can just sit down and in less than 10 minutes, I know whether I need to continue with this relationship or not. I know whether, oh, your card is important to me or not. I know whether your invitation is important to me or not. Why? I've scanned those things and I understand that there's no point. It's not leading anywhere. Once you understand that, you cut off. Now, some of us have gotten ourselves into a relationship where we've been sentimental and we've gotten into trouble. Understand this. The first thing you need to decipher in every relationship is the roots. And what, again, this is the root principles, the root pillars: purpose, identity, and rules. Purpose, identity, and rules. Once those things are not correct, don't even waste your time going into the relationship. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Relationship Life. We'll continue our discussion on this same time, same station. Have a wonderful day.
I'm back, bigger and better. In a world full of pressures on all sides, many people experience some form of setback at some point or the other in life. While some setbacks can easily be overcome, many others can knock the best of men out of the game of life and bring them to a place where they never have the courage to get back up and fulfill their dreams and aspirations. In this book, I'm Bigger and Better by Adeniyi Adekunle, learn scriptural strategies that will help you turn setbacks into comebacks, help you rise every time you fall, and help you fulfill your dreams and aspirations.